A&E's Lou Grant is brought to you in part by IBM, solutions for a small planet.
Hello, I'm calling from the Trib. I'd like to confirm a call.
Getting you around in 2 hours. I'm coming up on deadline.
How much money was involved? Was it over $1,000? Was it over $10,000?
If I were going to design a house, it would be totally underground.
Uh-huh. How much further?
A friend of mine built one in Pennsylvania. Except for the chimney and the soda collecting cells, the entire structure was sunk below the frost line. Isn't that an exciting concept?
It sure is. This friend of yours, what is he, a groundhog? Hey, can we have this discussion when we stop to rest?
Have you ever thought about space?
Outer space?
Architectural space. I'll give you an example. What was out there before they built Los Angeles?
Sagebrush and drive-ins?
A desert basin surrounded by hills with a perfect climate, a glorious wide open space. What potential for the city of tomorrow? Instead, we have the city of the day before yesterday.
Watch it, Nick.
Nobody planned. Nobody saw the totality.
How much further?
You're gonna love this shot. Tells the whole story. Hey, don't tell me you're out of shape. You? I'm really surprised. Thought with those long legs.
Give me a break.
That is Farron Lake, where we were this morning.
There's nothing out there but wildflowers and coyotes. Where's the lake?
It's a dry lake, and a delicate ecology that affects this whole part of the state. 60 miles from here to Los Angeles, and no direct way to get here.
It really is beautiful.
And a very dumb place to build an airport.
Ah, now I know why you made me walk 400 miles. The great Nick Boyer's gonna do another piece on the rape of the wilderness in the name of progress. Ah.
Eric is convinced I don't play him more because he's my son. He won't acknowledge the fact that Richard is averaging 28 points a game.
How many points does Eric average?
4. So who would you play?
My son. I don't want to end up in a nursing home.
So Rosalie's going to call you about dinner Saturday night.
Didn't I say yes to that last week?
She likes to be sure. Also, I get the feeling she wants to talk to you about my staying late after work.
What are you talking about? I never see you here past 6.
That's the point. I've got myself in a poker game with Rossi and a couple of guys from sports.
Rossi, betting real money?
Losing real money, you'll be happy to know. Anyway, I told her I was working here. Would you cover for me? It'd go a long way towards ensuring domestic bliss.
Last night.
I knew I could count on you. Compassion. That's what makes a great city editor. Thanks.
Hey, Adam, do you have those printouts on Treasury bills?
Yeah, on my desk.
Well, this story's driving me nuts. I always hated math.
Do me a favor. If Lou asks, just say you and I were playing poker last night, okay?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
That's personal. It's kind of complicated. Help me out, I'll help you out with your math.
Oh, okay. I understand. Adam. Wait a minute. It won't work. Lou knows we couldn't have been playing poker last night because he was here with me working on the T-bill story till 10 o'clock.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Forget I mentioned it. I get the stuff.
You hear that?
Yeah. So?
What's he doing, fooling around?
Welcome to the 20th century.
But Adam Wilson, he's Mr. Straight, Mr. Family Man.
Did you ever meet Rosalie? Formidable lady. City desk, Lou Grant. Oh, hi, Rosalie. Yeah, just fine. I've been looking forward to your dinner on Saturday, and I didn't forget. Gee, I'm kind of busy. I'll be right there. Well, my wife, my ex-wife, used to complain when I stayed late, too. You know how it is. The work is so unpredictable. Let me talk to Adam about it. The guy's just too conscientious.
I'm sorry, is it that time already?
Yes, luncheon is at 12. We have all that traffic.
I'll take my car.
No, let me drive. You make me nervous. And if I make you nervous, you at least have the good grace to keep your mouth shut.
Listen, I'm on my way out. Tell whoever it is I just left. Oh, who is it? Andrew Van Dusen. You want to take it?
Andrew Van Dusen? Dutch, what are you doing off the golf course this early? It must be raining. How's Dottie? How nice. Well, just a minute. I'll see. I'll just take a look at my calendar here. No, Tuesday's fine. At Alessandro's. I'd be delighted. See you then.
I didn't know your families were on speaking terms.
Oh, Mr. Hume. That was in the 20s when his grandfather and mine were at war over land and water rights. My father put most of that to rest, but we were still considered too ill-mannered and aggressive to be included in the circle.
The Circle? That's the crowd that meets for lunch at Alessandro's.
They do more than that. They move mountains. We wouldn't have a museum if it weren't for the circle.
I've heard.
I don't think they've ever asked a woman to come, even for cocktails.
I can see why they'd want you. The trip has a lot more clout than it used to.
Does it occur to you they may have another reason, Mr. Hume?
What would that be?
They may like me for my legs. What is that?
Oh, that's Nick Boyer's desk.
I should have known.
He salvaged that door from the old city room.
I find his taste in furniture every bit as irritating as his writing style. Why must he pontificate so?
Well, he's a critic of urban planning.
Oh, I've noticed. He hasn't seemed to find anything to like in Los Angeles ever since we took him in. Who found him, anyway?
I did.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Billy,
You don't like it.
it's full of holes. You're talking about the impact of Asian refugees on the county budget, and there are no quotes from the county. That's just sloppy reporting.
Well, I was counting on...
Huh?
Never mind. I'll get them. Adam,
Hi, what's up?
the refugee story.
What about it?
Adam, I really needed those quotes you were going to get me from your contact at the county planning office.
Didn't I do that for you?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, Billy. Lou's no fun when he's ticked off about a story.
Well, as long as we get them today.
Today is rough. I'm tied up with Treasury bill interest notes with Rossi. You know he never learned fractions?
Adam, I covered for you with Lou.
All right. I'll tell you what. Here's the private number for the county commissioner. That's better than the planning office anyway.
Great. Thanks.
I owe you one, Slugger.
You know, I'm always the first to complain whenever the print shop screws up my pictures. I gotta say, the reproduction on this Fair and Lake stuff is fantastic. Look at this.
Nice shots.
Mm-hmm. I noticed they also reproduced Nick Boyer's prose with great clarity. Referring to the airport, he used boondoggle and white elephant in the same sentence.
Did you notice he's already calling it Edsel International?
Gee, this is pretty. Seems a shame to spring an airport on such an unsuspecting place.
What the pictures don't show is how high those mountains are. I mean, a pilot taking off is really gonna have to pull back on the old stick to clear those.
Not to mention how far it is from L.A.
Seems to me it takes less time to fly from city to city than it does to drive to the airport.
This one's 60 miles away. How do they expect people to get there?
Boyer's got a suggestion that we put people in pneumatic tubes and shoot them out.
I think Mrs. Pynchon would like to put Nick Boyer in a pneumatic tube and shoot him to the moon.
Scotch?
Very well done.
There you go. I think you know everyone, Margaret.
I haven't met them all, but I recognize them. Big Montgomery, the telephone company, I know him. I know Fred Clark of Clarkson Stores. The gentleman in the gray suit with white hair, I can't place.
Oh, that's John Roberts.
John Roberts? That's John Roberts? He doesn't look anything like the publicity photos we've been running for the past 20 years. Good Lord. Where's Ray Hitchcock?
Oh, he went off to Washington to accept a cabinet post.
Of course.
But the way things are going there, I expect him back soon.
Nice to see you again. Well, it's about time we had a pretty face at this table. Yes. Margaret, we're delighted to have you with us.
Up to now, Mike McAfee's been our prettiest face.
But does he dance as well as I do?
No, he doesn't.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yes, to you, Margaret. Margaret.
Well, I sit on the board of the South Central Community College, and none of the redevelopment, that we talked about after the Watts riots has really happened.
Here comes Monty's little pitch for the shopping center again.
Well, you got to admit, it's good for the community and good for business.
Yeah, Monty's got my commitment for 30,000 square feet. We're ready to put a store in if anyone else will. Well, you always did like to live dangerously.
Well, there never was progress without risk, John.
That's true. You suppose we can get Kyle Lewis in on this? Why not?
Well, Kyle said if anybody wants to anchor this thing, that his bank will guarantee low-interest loans to the local merchants.
Oh.
Okay, that's a start. Monty, why didn't you tell him that Fred and Steve have agreed?
Agreed? I haven't agreed to anything.
I heard him.
Easy.
Now, who else can we bulldog here?
Well, we could always use a good food store. And once things start rolling, all the rest will just want to come aboard.
Is that right?
I think so. I think so, too.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got him.
I'm sorry to bother you at this hour. This is Jess down at McKinnon's.
Jess. Yeah. Did I forget to tip you?
Hey, look, Lou. There's a guy down here from your office who gave us a bad time. He created quite a ruckus. I managed to calm him down, but I think somebody better come here and take him home.
I appreciate it, Jess. Okay, I'll come down. Who is it? Oh.
Somebody's going to come and get you.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E. Grant.
Mosley? Hi. Lou Grant. Listen, sorry to be calling you like this. Adam's with me, and he's just a little...
I know what he is, Lou. And it's not a little. It's probably a lot.
Yeah. So I'm going to put him in a cab.
He's not coming here.
You don't mean that.
I mean it. And Adam knows I mean it. Good night, Lou.
Morning. Morning. Wish I'd give you your night's sleep back, but all I have is eggs and whole wheat toast.
Thanks.
Feel a lot better if you went jogging.
I'm too tired. You're the one who should feel lousy.
I'm a veteran.
Aren't you eating?
Breakfast on an empty stomach? Never. Lou, I'm really sorry.
It's okay. I've seen worse.
I've been worse. It won't happen again.
Don't worry about it. I love being a hero. But Adam, you got to admit, there is something going on around here.
Whatever it is, Lou, you can trust me. I swear I'll never tell anyone.
With you, at work. Is there something at the paper?
No. I mean, it's a grind and it can get to you, but nothing else.
What is it then? You and Rosalie?
We have problems like anybody. I guess the question is whether or not they're worth solving.
I can't tell you that.
I don't know. Lately, it seems everything ends in a shouting match. Rosalie's the one who throws the dishes, by the way. You really don't want to hear this, do you?
Well, no.
Listen, I know I've been getting tanked a lot lately, but that's no big deal. I'll cut it out.
What about Rosalie? How's she handling it?
She's okay. You can ask her yourself Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. Can I bring anything?
Just a chest protector.
I was so impressed with the way they handled the shopping center deal for South Central.
The city's been trying to get that going for years.
Oh, Mr. Hume, I have no illusions about businessmen. But they managed to combine their self-interest with what I think is good for the city.
How's the food?
Excellent.
In that case, I join. If only to have lunch at Alessandro's.
Well, they haven't asked me yet. This was only my first date.
Charlie? Oh, hi. Mr. John?
Boy,
I put that story on the sculpture garden on your desk. I saw it. I want to talk to you about it. I'll be here all day.
You mean the Van Deersen Sculpture Garden? Yes, we're all looking forward to that.
Well, some people are.
But you're not.
I put what I think in the story.
I take it you don't approve.
Of course not. The city's going to spend $2 million on a rehash of the same design concepts they were using in 1941. It's the same architectural firm.
That firm has built a great many buildings for the city.
Yes, some of our ugliest. You asked me and I told you.
Tomorrow's paper is going to be a lot of fun.
I don't think that went over too well.
You really have a knack for stumbling into the hornet's nest.
Well, sure. When I hear that buzzing, I guess it's a challenge. I say to myself, what can I do to knock that thing down and not get stuck?
How fast can you run?
Hi.
Hi, come in.
Boy, something that sure smells good in here.
I don't know what. I haven't even started cooking yet.
Oh.
Oh, thanks. Look, Lou, this is a little awkward. Adam and I had a fight and he left 20 minutes ago.
Oh. What should I do?
I don't know. I got plenty of stuff in the kitchen. I might as well cook it. Why don't you stick around?
Okay.
I'll put these in water.
Well, where's Eric?
He's staying with a friend in the building. Can't say that I blame him.
You saved more things from the fire than I thought.
It's all rented.
Have you and Adam been looking for another house?
Oh, real estate's gone crazy, even since the brush fire. And, of course, we were underinsured. So I don't think we'll be able to replace what we had. Not unless we move back east.
Is that what you're thinking?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I can't speak for Adam.
He got pretty loose last night.
Loose?
Well, you know, we had a few drinks.
Lou, why don't you call it by its right name? He's an alcoholic.
An alcoholic? You don't believe that.
He's dependent on alcohol. He may be a very charming drunk, but he's still a drunk.
I've known drunks. Adam was just blowing off steam.
Try living with it.
We're in a tough business, and Adam's a good editor. He works hard, and he puts a lot of pressure on himself.
He's really done a number on you, hasn't he?
I care about him, that's what you mean?
I care about him, too, but sometimes I wonder if it isn't out of masochism. I don't even know what he's escaping from. Probably me. You see, I'm the heavy in all of this, and I am tired of keeping the family together.
You're thinking of letting go?
Lou, I know his pattern, and he's drawing you in. He'll get you to cover for him. First, you'll be encouraging him. Then you'll be chewing him out. There'll be lots of emotion, lots of guilt. I know you think you can save him from himself, but take it from me. I know. He'll get burned.
The idea is to connect our present airport with the new one at Farron Lake.
So how can they do that over 60 miles of deserts, mountains, highways, cities?
Linear induction, motor track, cushion vehicles, gentlemen.
Oh, sure, my kid's got one. I had to put it together for it.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a train, floats on a layer of air, and travels hundreds of miles an hour.
The airport's a zoo these days. Ever tried getting your baggage the same day you arrived?
But this one's a pipe dream. It's totally impractical.
Environmental problems?
Hardly. It's a basin out there like a miniature L.A. They say a city of 500,000 people will spring up around that airport. They'll all be choking on smog. Also, these mountains right here are going to be a problem for airplanes trying to land.
It took me 3 hours to get out of LAX last New Year's weekend. Other airport's not such a bad idea.
There has also been a significant diversion of tax funds into this area. A lot of money is going into development.
Financial should cover that. Where's Adam?
Oh, I saw him down at McKinnett's earlier.
Oh, no. I saw him leave there. He might be heading down to the commodities exchange. Big gold price break.
Big enough to miss a budget meeting?
I guess so.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll get back to the commissioner later.
Billy, 5:30.
I know, I'm kind of in trouble here.
What's the matter?
I can't write my lead.
First thing to do is relax. Get up, take a walk. It'll come to you.
I know what I want to write. I just don't have the statistics, the cost per refugee family.
And now you realize it? What you working on that with Adam?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Louis, he's just not back yet.
Not your fault.
I know he's got the stuff. He did the interview. Maybe he left his notes.
Now look, do what you can. Here are the notes. All right, what's going on?
I give up.
I had to go through your desk to get some notes for Billy, and what do I find? Vodka.
Did you find the tomato juice in the other drawer?
The worst thing you could do right now is be a wise guy.
So it's there to clear the nasal passage. Settle the stomach on a rough day.
Bull!
Did Billy get what she needed? Oh, don't be mad at me.
It's one thing to go out at night, fall apart, and act like a slob. But not here.
What's the difference between taking a belt from the desk drawer once in a while and going out for lunch and downing 3 Scotch rocks like a gentleman?
There's a big difference. It's different if you can handle it, if you're in control. But not going off by yourself in the afternoons to get tanked, not screwing up on the job.
Am I screwing up?
Yeah. You stand a good chance of getting yourself fired.
Maybe that'd be just as well.
You know, you're like a little kid just asking for it, seeing how far he can go. You pick a fight with your wife just before I come over and then leave her with the embarrassment of facing me. You let your fellow reporters down. Look what you did to Billy. Now this.
Don't upset yourself about it, Lou. It's really not worth it.
This morning you told me it was no big deal, that you could stop drinking any time. Well, you know something? I don't believe that anymore. I don't think it can stop. And that's what worries me, pal.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Power is the ability to command men and women. Greatness is the ability to use power wisely.
Who said that?
My mother. She'd also say it's not good enough to sit around on your what's-it and be rich.
You didn't need any motivation.
No, I always had a feeling for business. But it took me a while to understand that I also had to make a contribution.
My husband felt the same way. He felt his contribution was to tell the public about your father.
Yes. I remember the number of breakfasts that were spoiled because the Tribune had just arrived.
Must have been an educational experience for you.
Yes, I learned how to swear.
You must admit, Matthew was a good newspaper man.
He was good. You're better.
Oh, Judge, I don't know.
Yes, since you took over, the Tribune is not just a local paper. It has national influence. We're proud of you, Margaret. You've done an extraordinary job. You must know that we have an ulterior motive in asking you to lunch. We'd like you to join us on a permanent basis.
I'd be pleased.
Now, that was the fun part. Now, I don't want you to think that we're running a school here, but you have a little homework to do before our next session.
The Emerald Plan.
That's a study made on the feasibility of the Farron Lake Airport project.
Oh, yes, I believe our environmental writer has had some unkind words to say about this project.
We've noticed.
Of course. But don't ask me to be critical of one of my employees.
Well, perhaps if he read this, it would answer some of his objections. Now, my main concern is not that a few people disagree, but that the public as a whole does not have the facts to understand what we're trying to accomplish.
I'll read it very carefully.
Good. You can expect a short quiz next Tuesday.
Do you know who paid for this thing?
The county.
The county only paid for half. The other $250,000 was picked up by the Los Angeles Business League. Now, to begin with, that is an unprecedented coalition between government and private industry.
You're not getting my message, Mr. Hume.
Enlighten me.
A new airport is desperately needed. It will create jobs, commerce, and economic growth. Now, we should sell this project to the public because it's in their best interests.
Whose best interest? A lot of guys who own property out there.
Mr. Hume, read the plan, and you will see that a lot of guys gave an enormous parcel of land to the county for the purpose of building this airport.
Mrs. Pinchon, we've already devoted a lot of space to this.
Much of it negative.
Not all of what we learned is negative. We're just trying to present a balanced view.
You're not going to get a puff piece from Nick Boyer. You know that, Mrs. Pinchon. We used to do that when this paper and everyone else wanted to push growth for the sake of growth in Los Angeles. I'm glad those days are over.
If Mr. Boyer is not the writer I want, maybe he shouldn't write these stories.
I'm in charge of what's published, and I think he's doing a good job.
I'm surprised to find you so inflexible, Mr. Hume.
I'm surprised to find you trying to push our paper in a very dangerous direction.
You may make any assignments you wish. But I'm telling you to reevaluate the kind of coverage we're giving this airport and the kind of person who's covering it.
Hey, this newspaper becomes a mouthpiece for the Los Angeles Business League is the day I say adios, muchachos.
She must have been in a bad mood. Put what you think in a memo to her.
More than a mood. She wants us to sell the public.
Maybe we should put somebody else on Farron Lake. See if Boyer's angle holds up.
I think Boyer is doing fine.
Excuse me, Wilbur.
Hi, Rossi.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
For you, I'm always available. You mind, Charlie?
Don't you take Boyer off that story.
What is it?
I was wondering, what are you doing tonight?
I don't know. I don't plan that far in advance.
Want to get something to eat?
Well, gee, Rossi, I was probably going to do some work.
Well, you're not going to skip dinner, are you?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm a little tired. I was looking forward to going home, throwing out some soup, and hitting the sack early. How about lunch tomorrow?
Well, it would be better if it were dinner tonight.
What's the big deal about tonight?
Boy, you know, you're not an easy ask. Maybe I should have brought flowers.
Okay, you won me over. How you feel about Chinese food? I could really get up for Chinese food tonight.
I was thinking more of Italian.
Italian? Great. Luigi's.
Carmine's.
Carmine's, where's that?
At Father's house. I'll give you a ride after work.
There is nothing like homemade pasta.
This smells fantastic.
Oh, wine, Lou.
Thanks. How are you doing, Carmine?
Oh, I'm fine. I still got my club soda.
Yeah. This must have taken hours to prepare.
Oh, no. Joe's grandmother, she used to make lasagna noodles by hand. I mean, she would roll out the dough and cut it with a knife. That was an all-day affair. Joe got me that pasta machine last Christmas.
I figured it would be a good investment.
I've been dying to do this, but Joe would never ask.
Yeah. Come on, let's sit down. Huh? Lou, you sit over here.
All right.
Oh, boy. This is nice.
You know, I didn't see Adam around much today. How is he?
I guess he's okay. Pesto.
Seems like he's going through something.
Yeah, he is.
I saw you guys arguing. You look pretty upset. I want to talk to you about it.
I don't think we should talk about Adam's problem right now.
Actually, I thought if you came over here tonight, maybe...
Is this the way you interview people? You call this drawing people out?
Hey, give me a chance, will you?
Look, Lou, there's no nice way to butt into somebody else's business. My son thought maybe I could help out, having some experience in this area, being a recovering alcoholic.
Oh.
You know, I've been sober now for 14 months. But it's still a everyday battle. That's why we call it recovering.
I appreciate what you're saying, Carmine, and what you've been through. But I'm not sure that Adam's an alcoholic. I mean, he drinks more than he should.
But from what Joe tells me, this guy, Adam's got a problem. And so do you.
How do I have a problem?
Well, what was happening with you guys arguing was very familiar to me. It's a pattern that alcoholics and people close to them can easily fall into. I'd come over and find him passed out in bed with a lit cigarette. Can you imagine that, falling asleep with a lit cigarette? If I hadn't come by...
Hey, Joe, maybe your father doesn't want to talk about it.
That's all right, Lou. It's like looking at an old photograph. Maybe you don't like what you see, but it's still you.
It got pretty intense. I went a little crazy. I was so angry. I felt guilty. I didn't know what to do. Wound up going to a shrink.
You did?
I'd appreciate it if that didn't go any further. And then I got into a group for families of alcoholics.
Yeah, he tried to get me to go, but I was too smart for that.
Right. Then he cracked up his car.
And God's little hint that I should join.
So what you're saying is I should try to get Adam to go to some kind of group? He'd never do it.
Things only started to change when I realized it was his problem, not mine. The more I played his game and allowed myself to scream and yell, the worse it was for both of us. The best you can do, and this may sound cruel, is back off. Don't play.
That's tough.
Yeah, the tough part is when you say, my life can be okay, even if he's messing up.
You mean I shouldn't try to help the guy get himself straightened out?
Lou, if he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it by himself.
Well, I don't think that I can go around Charlie Hume.
Of course not. Tell him you're acting on my instructions, if you like.
You know, I am working on the Asian refugee story.
I don't want this to interfere with any of your regular assignments. But I would like some results as soon as possible. I'm concerned about our coverage of Ferren Lake. I'm not at all happy with the way Mr. Boyer has been allowed to handle it. I want a detached, objective investigation.
Well, I'll see what I can find.
I don't know how much we can stretch it.
I hate padding a story.
Well, how about this? City News Service reports the Harbor Freeway became a giant featherbed when 500 pounds of goose feathers were scattered across several miles when two semis collided.
What was the other truck carrying?
It was empty.
No, too bad I wasn't carrying tar. It could have been a story for us.
You need 200 words?
How did you know?
I have a little gem on the rising cost of economy cars. It's in the computer.
Sent from heaven.
You're welcome. Lou, can I ask you something? You have $75.
What for?
I made a mistake in my checkbook. One of those dumb arithmetical errors, and I bounced a check.
That's too bad.
I need some cash till the end of the week. Just till Friday's paycheck.
I don't know, Adam.
Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, it's not that. I just don't know if it's such a good idea.
What do you mean? You're talking to the Bank of Sherman Oaks.
I want to make a deal with you.
Okay, I'll pay you back with 18% interest.
I'm serious. The deal is I no longer cover for you every time you're not here, every time you make a mistake. It's not good for either of us. I'm sorry. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. Listen, Next time I won't come to you.
No. Not next time. This time.
You mean you're going to stiff me for $75?
If you want to put it that way, yeah. I'm going to stiff you.
Some deal. Thanks a lot, Lou.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Julie, get Mr. Hume up here right away. Go down there and lasso him if you have to.
Oh!
Hello.
I didn't have to get Mr. Hume. He just walked in.
Send him in.
I assumed that you wanted to see me. Miss Pinchon?
One of my Ainsley teacups is broken.
Oh.
It's part of a set my great-grandmother brought over from England. I doubt it can be replaced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I want you to fire Nick Boyer.
Did he break your teacup?
The now or never hysteria being whipped up by the backers of the Ferren Airport plan is an attempt to stampede the public into a hasty decision, the results of which will have a negative impact on this area for the next 50 years. That is tendentious. He's pushing his own opinions again.
You're right. It's a critical piece. We say news analysis in this little box in the corner.
I'm tired of being embarrassed, having to defend his opinions when they are clearly not my own. I don't care to discuss this any further.
But I have no basis for firing the man.
The basis is that your publisher is fed up with his negative, one-sided point of view. We have enough obstacles to progress in this city. I don't need another one on my payroll. And if you won't fire him, I will.
What's the matter with her? Ever since she started having lunch at Alessandro's, she's been acting like she's Captain Queeg. What's she trying to do, impress these people?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know what to do.
Do nothing. Everyone in authority goes a little screwy once in a while. There's that story about the president who would make crazy decisions that his aides would just sit on. In a few days, he'd come back and he'd say, "Did you do such and such?" And they'd reply, "Not yet, sir." And he'd say, "Thank God." Of course, Mrs. Pinchon isn't president.
Thank God.
Oh. Lou Grant. Who is this?
Adam Wilson.
You gotta be kidding.
It's borderline. Really borderline. I don't think they've got a case.
They can't hold you on a speeding ticket.
I wouldn't interrupt your sleep for a speeding ticket. They say I was under the influence. Do I sound drunk to you?
Adam.
Of course not. Rational, I'm in control. They're the ones who are being unreasonable.
What did they hit you with?
It's drunk driving. Probably come to a $300 fine and maybe weekends.
Weekends?
6 p.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Sunday in the county jail. For 10 weeks.
Sounds kind of rough. How can they do that to you?
Well, it's not my first offense.
Oh, I see.
So, here I am on both knees. Ask you to come down and bail me out.
I think you know the answer.
Hey, pal, you're my dime. I spend it all on you.
Sorry. I told you. We have a deal.
No, I thought we were friends. Friends don't make deals.
Do you get another phone call?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I'll make it for you.
Oh, no, please, not Rosalie. I couldn't stand to hear I told you so right now.
No. Not Rosalie. There's an aid group for alcoholics. They've got a 24-hour hotline. Maybe they'll come down and clear you out.
Lou, you know these cops. I thought maybe you'd come down and talk to them. You saved my life last time. Hey, Lou, it's 10 weekends.
I found the number. I'll make the call for you.
Well, it's pretty convoluted, but it comes down to some interesting facts.
Good. Go on.
The Los Angeles Business League, which paid for half of the Emerald Plan, is dominated by 10 men, all of whom have very heavy downtown interests. 2 years ago, this group of men gave 1,000 acres to the county for the airport.
Yes, I know all about that.
Well, I thought that was pretty magnanimous. So I did some digging, and from what I can find out, they held on to thousands of surrounding acres, hiding behind dummy corporations. When that airport goes in, they stand to make millions. Now, of course, if the airport project is voted down, that property that they own won't be worth much.
Oh, boy.
Would you like to see a list of the men involved?
I suppose so. I wonder if I'll see any familiar names.
Miss Finchon, we don't often see you down here.
I need to have some copies made.
Julie out sick?
This is personal.
Oh, I see.
Billy Newman will be talking to you about Farron Lake. She has some new information.
Great, I look forward to it.
It seems Mr. Boyer just barely scratched the surface.
That's probably true.
A very bold, far-reaching scandal.
Scandal?
Miss Newman has proof.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes. Everyone loves a scandal. No one thinks of the victim on the other end.
Usually the victim is the public.
Yes, and sometimes people who consider themselves very wise can be taken in.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Well, I sit on the board of the South Central Community College. And none of the noise and none of the redevelopment we're talking about after the last
Shopping center again.
Hello, Margaret. Let me get you a drink.
No, thank you. I won't be staying long. I wanted to give you this in person. There's a copy inside for each one of you.
Margaret, your hand is trembling.
This is not a very happy moment for me. I think I'll make it as brief as possible.
Margaret? Just a minute, Margaret. I think you're being rather quick to judge what any one of us would do given the opportunity.
Thank you. I no longer consider myself one of us.
These charges will be very difficult to prove.
Perhaps.
I suppose we can now look forward to more attacks on the Farron Lake plan in the Tribune.
Would you like me to cancel your subscription?
Oh, Margaret. You're the same obstructionist maverick your old man was.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, now we're going with the changes in the food price inflation story. Adam, I know that there's a lot of digging involved, but when do you think we can see it?
I'll have it tomorrow.
We don't need it right away. The recession can wait a day or two.
That's all right. I'll have it tomorrow.
Thank you, gents.
And we're having another poker game. How about it, Charlie? You got some of my money.
I've been putting it to good use. When's the game?
Let's say Wednesday night at my place. How about you, Adam?
Wednesdays are no good for me. I've got a meeting.
Well, Thursday then. Ask Flo to join us. He'll play if you do.
You ask.
How's it going?
How long did it take your old man to stop thinking you'd sold him down the river?
I don't know, Lou. Blocked it out of my mind it was such a rough time. Don't worry. It can only get better.
Excuse my dropping by like this.
Not at all.
I was on your floor. I thought I'd drop by.
Residents of the tower are always welcome. I got your memo about Farron Lake.
Yes.
It's going to be a good story.
I suppose we owe it all to Mr. Boyer.
Not all, but he does have good instincts.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I take it Mr. Boyer's still on staff.
When you made that decision, I had so many things on my desk, I just couldn't get around to doing it.
Thank God. And what is Mr. Boyer working on now?
They call it Lullaby in the Lobby. It's about the effects of canned music in public places. He says it's a violation of people's auditory rights.
Interesting.
He says it's dehumanizing. He's using the Trib building as an example.
Have a nice day, Mr. Hume.
When it comes to catching criminals, Poirot and Marple are the masters of mystery. Tonight on the Agatha Christie Mysteries. Now, Ed Asner stars as an aging cop who tangles with a rambunctious rookie on Police Story. Next on A&E.